Alright, so today I'm going to continue with my Monopoly game. I have my basic board. It's not very fancy, but the pieces do move. We can roll the dice, and it'll wait for the different players. So today I want to implement community chest. And if you don't have this game right here and you want to follow along, you can just go to this link. I'll put in the description, the URL, and click these three dots, hit edit, and you will get this exact world right here. So I want my community chest to work. Let's go to Toolbox, and we'll go Images, and I found almost all the Monopoly images for the tiles and stuff in here. So community chest is one of them. That way I don't have to draw things out. I'm going to slide that on, and of course it's upside down. That's fine. Make sure collisions is off. So go to COM1. I'm in game board tiles, and that's the one. That's the piece right there, COM1. And I named my community chest 1, 2, and 3. So let's flip that so that our decal is right way. Look for orientation. And we're just going to flip it 180 degrees. It's going to flip the whole tile. There you go. Now I'm going to get that decal. I'm going to put it on the other two community chests. Control D. Control D. There we go. And of course, at least one of them is going to be upside down. This one's upside down. Hit an Alt. Click on that, and we got what, -90. Let's make that +90. There we go. And how's the other one look? Oh man, that one's upside down too. All right, we're gonna Alt click. That clicks the tile, and then I'm gonna make this -90 to flip it. There we go. All right, now let's go back to our COM1. I clicked on COM1, hit F to frame in. There we go. Now, I want to know what type of property I'm going to land on. Let me get rid of that. We're going to have buyable property. Most properties are going to be buyable. Some are going to be buildable. Some are going to be like community chests. Some are chance. Some are taxes. So I think on all my tiles, as I populate them, I'm going to add and hit that plus sign, and then hit S for string value. I'm going to call this prop type. Say prop type, and this prop type is going to be community chest. And I know it's not technically a property, but that's fine. Hit Control D and then copy them down to your other two community chests. There we go. So now we will know what property type. We'll be able to access the property type when we land on the tile. So when I land on the tile, I want a card to pop up and tell me something, give me some information. In this case, it's going to be like pay school tax and stuff. So in order to do that, I'm going to need remote events, because we're going from server, which is right here, to client, which is going to be the UI. So I'm going to go to replicated storage. We already have a role RE. So I'm going to add a role result RE. That's going to go to the client. So I'll say role result RE. And when I'm done my role and my piece moves, it's going to give me the information I need, saying, hey, it's community chest. Then the player is going to click on a close button, or like a buy or a purchase if it's a property. But today it's just going to be a close button. Regardless, we're going to have a remote event going back with the player response. So I'll say player response RE. There we go. And now we can go all the way down here to our starter GUI, and I'm going to add a frame. And this is going to be my card right here. I'm going to make the anchor point of the frame 0.5 and 0.5 because I want to center it. Let me just move this over here a little bit. There we go. Position. I'll make that 0.5 on the X, 0 pixel offset, 0.6 on the Y, and 0 pixel offset. Now let's take that 0.4. Here, move it up a little bit. Size. I played around with a few sizes. I'm going to make it 0.15, 15% of the screen size, 0 pixel offset, and then 0.4, which is 40% of the height, That's the Y, 0 pixel offset. That's a nice little card right there. And I'm going to rename my frame. I'm going to call this query player FRM for frame. On my frame, I'm going to do a text label. Text label is going to have my message. I'll call it message label. And let's see what size should we make that. It's already positioned in the corner, so I'll make this 1 on the X, 0 pixel offset, and 0.6 on the Y, 0 pixel offset. It's looking good. We're going to change the color in code because we want it to be yellow for community chest, orange for chance, things like that. Font, I'll make that bangers. Label, that's all right. We'll change that with the code. Text scaled, I'll go ahead and do that. If you don't do text scaled, make sure you do your text wrapped, right? All right, now we'll do a button. Let's do a text button, and this is going to be the close button. Say close button, and that we're going to have to move. So let's position that. Here's my size. Might as well do size. I think I'll make the size 0.6 on the X, 0 pixel offset, 0.2 on the Y, 0 pixel offset. And my position's up here. That I'm going to make 0.2 on the X, 0 pixel offset, and 0.7 on the Y. Yes, I want it down below the label. Cool. Let's change the font. I'm going to make that bangers also. Just hit a B there. And I'm going to call this close. Do it text scaled. I'm not going to change the color. I don't want to spend too much time on UI. Let's do a background though, make it a little bit different background, like pink or something. Nice. We don't want to make it like yellow or green or something that it could be a property or like community chest, which is going to be right now. All right, so on my query player frame, let's also add a local script. I'm going to call this query player loc, so I know it's a local script. Ooh, that's tiny. Let's make that bigger. And we want to get our replicated storage. So we'll do local rs game get service replicated storage because we need to get our remote events. And we have two that we're interested in. We have our role result RE, and that's in replicated storage, wait for child, role result RE. This has to be spelled the same as that. Else you'll get a infinite yield error. Oops, I got an extra E right here. Let me get rid of that. There we go. Local player response RE, RS wait for child, and then player response RE. Cool beans. And we also need to get a hold of our frame. I'll just call it FRM script.parent, and then we're going to need the close button, right? And that's frame close button, and we're going to need the message label, right? Frame message label. We're going to update that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's add, while we're here, let's go ahead and add the functionality for the UI. So we're going to need a function to ask the question. And it's not always going to be a question, right? The community chest and chance is going to be a statement, but that's fine. You get it. And I'm going to pass in the color. Like I said, I'm going to update my card based on the type of query I have for the player. So the frame is going to become visible, say true. And then we're going to make the color, background color 3, equal the color we pass in. We're going to make the message label background color 3, the same color. I guess I could just make that transparent, the background transparent, but that's fine. MSG label text, and then I'm just gonna put the message on there. And I spelled that wrong. Message. There we go. All right, now we're going to hit the close button, and that's going to close our window. So the frame will become invisible once we hit the button, and then the player response RE is going to fire a server event, and we'll just put a note here. Action goes here. All right, and now the role result RE is going to open the window. It's going to do the ask question. So we're going to say on client event, right? We haven't done that yet, but we're going to. So we're going to catch that event from the server when we land on a tile, and then we're going to ask our question. Get rid of those 2 extra parentheses. Do a close button, activated, and that's going to connect to the close. All right, that's going to fire our server. So we're good right here. Let's go to our server side. Now here, I'm going to close these tiles. We're done with that. Here's my board utils. This is where I'm going to do most of my stuff. But before I do that, in order to test, I'm going to go to my server script service. Here it is. And I'm going to temporarily change the players needed to 1, because I'm just going to test it with 1 character for now. And then I'm going to change the intermission to 5, so I don't have to wait 10 seconds when I go to test it in front of you guys. And then when I take my turn, rather than just trying to keep roll community chest tile, I'm gonna put a roll value equals 2, and that's the community chest. That way, whatever I roll, I'm going to get a 2. That's going to make my testing easier. All right, nice. So now let's go back to our board utils. And in board utils, I need to catch those remote events from my query player loc. I'm going to copy and paste them. Click query player loc. Whoops. And I'm going to go to the top. I'm going to copy these 3 lines, Control C, go back to my board utils, paste them. Look at that, because it's got to look at the same on both sides. I'm going to add 2 more variables. I'm going to add a variable for player answered, and it's going to start out as false. I'm going to add a variable for CC index, which is community chest index. Now we're going to do these all in order. We're going to shuffle the deck at some point though. So I'll say randomize deck at some point. There we go. So we remember. And let's put a little deck of 2 cards in there. Say local community chess. I'm going to call it a table, not a deck, because I'm going to talk computer science right here, right? Equals. Make sure these are curly brackets, right? Open and close curly brackets. Pay school tax of 150. Now we're going to delimit these different cards with this comma. Right, so I'm going to add another one just to make it interesting. Bank error in your favor, collect 200. There's no comma on the last one. So if you have like 20 of these, there's going to be a comma behind every single one, but not the last card, right? So it separates them. All right, cool. That's our community chest table. We only need 2. I'll copy the whole list and put it in the description so that you don't have to copy those. That's not going to teach you anything, just to pound out a bunch of community chest entries. So here, what I'm going to do above my handle corner. So we have my handle corner, I have my pass go, and I have my move piece. That's the main one right there, move piece. I'm going to go to the top here, just to kind of keep it organized. I'm going to make a function. I'm going to call that land on tile action, I'm going to pass in a property and the avatar. The reason I'm passing the avatar is, if you'll recall, the name of the player is on the billboard of the avatar, and I'm going to need that. So let's go ahead and get the property type on our property. Remember, we put that property type on there on the com1, com2, and com3. But I'm going to do find first child because I didn't put the property type on everything, and I don't want it to error if I don't find it. Find first child will just return a nil if I don't find it. So prop type, right? So you go to their tiles. Yeah, prop type. That's that prop type right there. But not all tiles have it. So we're going to check, make sure if the prop type exists. If it doesn't, we're not. The if statement won't be valid because we're going to say and both have to be true. Prop type value equals. That's comparison. Community chest. Let's just make sure we spelled that right. Community chest. I think I got that right. So if that's the case, then we're going to say player answered. I'm going to make it false just in case it's not false at that point because they haven't answered yet. I want to get my player name, and the player name is going to be on the avatar. We're going to have a billboard GUI on top of that avatar. Billboard GUI. There's a text label on the billboard GUI, and the text on the text label on the billboard GUI is the player's name. Now that we have the player's name, we can get the player. We get the player from the game service, players, and I'm going to say player name. Player name. There we go. That gets me my player. I need the player because I'm going to fire an event to them. I'm going to say roll result RE fire client to this player, and then I'm going to do my community chess table square bracket CC index, right? And I'll do a comma. Also going to pass the color 3 because we're doing community chess, right? Dot new. Oh, let's do from RGB. That way we can select the color we want. And I'll pick that one. There we go. All right, cool. And now let's increment our CC index. We're going to go through the deck. In this case, we only have 2 cards, but that's fine. We're going to increase it by 1. What happens when we get to the end of the deck? CC index, if it's greater than the number of elements in the community chest table, then CC index will equal 1 again. All right, now we have to wait until the player responds. So you'll notice that this doesn't check for AFK players. We're going to have to handle that later. But we'll do a player answer. We're going to assume they answer for now. Right? We don't have any error checking. Wait 1 second, and let's do a printout. Waiting for response. What we'll do is we'll probably wait 10 seconds or 15 seconds or something, break out of that loop if they don't respond, and then kick them from the game. Not community chess if we get down here, right? Because this is if community chess, and this is right now is going to be else. And we'll do else ifs for other things like chance and railroads and taxes and stuff like that. All right, so we have this cool land on tile action. Where do we call it? We call it right after we finish our last tween in our movement. This is pass go. Here it is, move piece. Right here's our last tween. We're going to wait till we get to the tile. Land on tile action. We need a property. That's tile prop is our property. We need the avatar. That's the item to move. Cool. But now when the player hits OK, we have to catch that event so that we can say, okay, the player has already answered. So how do we do that? We'll do a player response RE on server event connect, and I'll do an anonymous function. I'm just going to put the message in here. And we're going to add more stuff in here based on the responses. Player answered is true. And then we'll print do stuff. So we're not going to do stuff in this video. It's going to take too long. We're already at 20 minutes. Let's go ahead and play this. I think it'll work. And I'll test it afterwards too, and I won't post it if it doesn't work. All right, so our intermission has already started. You know what we got to do? Let's make that, what do you call it? That label. Let's make that invisible to start. There we go. Now let's do it. This video is originally 27 minutes. I had to kind of practice it a couple of times to get it down. It's pretty close to that now. So I hit my roll. My iron should move. Boom, I got pay school taxes of 150, and I'm waiting for the response. That's good. I hit my close button. Player won the game. Now I don't do any resets for the game, so I'm going to start again. The iron didn't go back because I haven't reset, but that's all right. I'm going to hit it. It should just stay here, and then this will pop up. There we go. Bank error in your favor. Collect 200. So this seems to be working. So give it a try, and I will just keep on populating this out until we have a game of Monopoly.